This is the website. It's called quiltnotes.com. And I'm going to go over a few of these tabs up here just to show you some of the things. This, of course, is the home page. This is calculators. When you click on this, you will have 3 calculators. The first one is straight set quilt. That's if you're going to set your quilts straight. The second one is for on-point settings. And both of these, you'll have the option of adding up to 5 borders and cornerstones and sashing if you like. So I'm going to demo the straight set, but click on this image and you'll see this is the default settings that show up. You have a little quilt here. It has the quilt size here. And these are just default information that's put in a 12-inch block. And the blocks are set 2 across and 3 down. And it has a 2-inch sashing. And all these are finished sizes. Then you can put up to 5 borders all here. But for now, I'm going to make the borders all 0, just so you can see. And you have to have a 0 or a number in there or you'll get an error. You can't just blank out the number. And I'm going to take the sashing down to 0 as well. So let's just say you wanted a 60 by 80 inch quilt. And right now your quilt is 24 by 36 and we have a 12-inch block. If I make this block bigger, 13 by 13, you see the quilt size increases. And so let's put it back down to 12. And so now you can start adding blocks across and blocks down. So if you see when I click this to make the block setting larger, that this number, the width of the quilt will increase. So there's 4 blocks and 5 blocks. So now you have your width is 60 inches. And you do the same thing with the blocks down, the number of blocks down, and you have a 72 inches. And this number here at the bottom tells you that there are 30 blocks in this quilt. So let's see what happens when we add a sashing. I'm just going to add a 2-inch sashing and I'll add a 4-inch border. So now our quilt size is 80 by 94. And you can put in your project name if you want to. So once you're happy with this layout and this quilt size, you just click this button, Submit, and it shows you all of the fabric requirements for that quilt except for the blocks. So here is our quilt information. The block size is 12 by 12. The block setting is 5 across and 6 down. The quilt size, 80 by 94. And the number of blocks is 30. Then you have the binding fabric you need. It tells you how many strips to cut. Here's the backing fabric for either 45-inch or 108-inch wide. Then we go down to the sashing. You have 2 choices, the sashing without cornerstones and the sashing with cornerstones. So it gives you the fabric and the cutting requirements for both of those choices. And then the border, here's the border number 1. If you're cutting crosswise cuts, that's the width of fabric. This is how much you need and how many strips you need to cut. And the lengthwise cuts, that's cutting along the selvage edge. It tells you how much you need for that. So what you can do once you have these results is you can right-click your mouse if you're on the Windows and press Print. And it will probably go on 2 pages. So here's the second page. Go down to your settings, More Settings. Click on that. And then we're going to go to the scale. And usually if you put in about 80, you'll be able to get it on 1 page. So this one we're not. So let's go down to 70. So there you can have it all on 1 page and you can print that out if you like. Or you can just take a picture, print the screen. If you're on an iPad, I believe you just have a long press and then your little menu will show up to print. I haven't tried it on there, or I have, but I can't remember now. So I'm going to cancel this out. So then you can just do that. It works the same way for the the quilts, the blocks on point, only there's not that little diagram from the page before. So that's these calculators. That's what that button is.